let's see here. Hopefully you can see me. This will be a playthrough of Tin Helm, a perilous solo micro quest. This was designed by Jason Glover and was illustrated by him as well. I got this tin from Etsy from the Mint Tin guys. They did an excellent job, though this copy is kind of worn out because I've brought it a bunch of places because it's just so portable, and I love how it comes in a little tin. So, oops. The game comes with everything that you need to play. And in this video, I'll be doing a playthrough of it to show you how it works. So, let me just set up everything. Alright, so I think I got most of it set up, but first we have to choose our character. So there are 4 separate characters that you can choose. You can either be a Crowling, which is like a bird person. The art in this game is spectacular. You can either be a Crowling, a human, a gnome, or a merfolk. Each one has different abilities, but you can kind of just choose by which one you want. So I think I am going to be a gnome. So gnomes can perform both actions at the campsite instead of picking one. So if we ever go to a campsite, right here, it says you may rest at the campsite, gaining 2 health and 1 energy, or you may search for provisions, gaining 1 food, which means that if we were a normal character, we could only do 1 of these, but since we're a gnome, we get to do both. So that's really good. I'm going to choose to be a gnome. And what you do is you turn over the other cards, and then it lets you choose your class. So I can be a footpad, which is kind of like a rogue in Dungeons and Dragons, an alchemist, or a parson. I think I will choose to be an alchemist. So I am a gnome alchemist. So you don't need these cards anymore, so I'm going to set them aside. So I'm a gnome alchemist. And now you set up. So I'm going to keep these cards over here. By the way, there is no rule book, but there are these rules cards that function like a rule book. I have them all out of order. Oh no. 1, 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to like 13, I think. Yeah, so this game is pretty simple, but packs a lot into a tiny little tin. Alright, in this game, we will be exploring these locations, and we will be fighting enemies, avoiding traps, fishing even, resting, getting treasure, all sorts of stuff. And the goal of the game is we're trying to collect these 3 crystals. And if we can't collect these 3 crystals by the time that we make it to the 5th dungeon, then we lose. If we lose all of our health, then we lose. But if we get all 3 of these crystals, then we win. So that's what we're trying to do. So every decision that we make is gonna be to be able to defeat more enemies to get more crystals. So if I shuffle up this deck, oh, I forgot to give myself health and energy. So you can see these little health icons. So this is 6 health and this is 3 health. So this is my health tracker right here. You're gonna move this cube down. So 6 health plus 3 health equals 9 health. Sorry, my hands are a little bit shaky. And for energy, that's 9 energy plus 4 energy equals 13 energy. So wow, I'm a super energetic guy. Little gnome. I get 1 ration. I start out at 0 favor, and I start on dungeon 1. And down here, you get to see the loot that I start out with. I start out with books and a potion. So here's the books, and here's the potion. So the books give me an extra energy whenever I rest at a campsite. And this potion, if I discard it, I get 2 health and 2 energy, so that's good. In this game, I can never have more than my max health and max energy. And never in the game can you have more than 5 rations, because that's all this card can show. So let's start. So, let me show you how exploration works in this game. Alright. Ton of cards. Alright, so we can either stop at this waterfall, or we can go to the next room. I think we should stop at this waterfall, because it's got something that we don't know yet, and then some water. So, to do that, we put it to the side, and then we flip over the next card, and it tells us what's there. So, we are in the labyrinth. So, since this question mark icon matches that question mark icon, it means we stop at the labyrinth. So there are these, if it says something that you don't know what it means, there are these handy dandy little cards that tell you what it is. You find yourself lost in a cavernous maze. Spend 1 food to escape. If you have 0 food, spend 2 energy to escape. If you have 0 food or energy, you spend 3 health to escape. And if we didn't have that health, then we would lose. But we just started the game, so we're good. Spend 1 food to escape. So, I guess we have to spend 1 food. But, there's still some water. And if you look to the rules, I don't know why they don't have a card for... Do they have a card for this? Yeah, they don't have a card for this. I don't know why. But, right here, it describes water. You can always look for food when you find water. Roll 1 dice. If it's a 5 or a 6, we gain 1 food. So, let's roll the dice. We got a 3. So sadly, we don't get any food, which is sad. All right. So, next place we can go is the sewers, which will have a trap, a campsite, and some water. Sure, let's stop there. So we put this one to the side. If we didn't do that, then we would have gotten some treasure, which is a shame, but what you gonna do? Oh! Okay, so the trap is absolutely nothing. So we don't have to worry about losing health. Then we go to the campsite. Yep, there we go. To the campsite. You may rest at the campsite, gaining 2 health and 1 energy, or you may search for provisions, gaining 1 food. But, if you recall, we are a gnome, which means we get to do both, so we don't have to choose. And also, since we're an alchemist, we have books, which give us 1 energy whenever we rest at a campsite. So, not only do we gain 1 food from being at the campsite, we also gain 2 health, which we can't, now that I realize it, because we can't be at our past our max, and 2 energy, which we also can't. So I guess that's a good problem to have, having too much health and too much energy. And then we also fish, because we're at water. Darn, am I ever going to catch a fish? Okay. We go to the clearing, which has a question mark, so we don't know what that is. That could be anything. And then we have a campsite again. When are we going to run into an enemy? I feel like we gotta start collecting shards, which we haven't done yet. So the question mark, I don't know, that could be anything. It could be something good or bad. Let's stop here. Ah, darn it. All right, so the question mark is grove. I actually forgot what that was. Ah, the grove. You may search the grove for mushrooms. Each mushroom found equals 1 food. Roll a dice to see how many I can find. All right, so if I roll a 1, then I get lost and lose 1 energy. If I roll a 2, nothing happens. If I roll a 3 or a 4, I get 1 mushroom, which gives me 1 food. And if I roll a 5 or a 6, then I find 2 mushrooms. So let's hope I roll a 5 or a 6. But knowing my luck with fishing, I'm probably not. Alright, so I rolled a 1, which means that I get lost and lose an energy, which is fine because I was at max energy, but that's kind of sad. Alright, so the next location that we can go to is the old well. So that has an enemy and some water. Is it worth it for the water? I feel like I'm not gonna, you never know, So, yeah, so the catacombs was pretty bad, so. Alright, so the enemy that we have to fight is the Skelpide. So I get to show you how combat works. So you look through the deck for the card that they're talking about. This is the card. It's the Skelpide. Alright. This enemy has 3 health plus the dungeon level that we're on. So since we're on dungeon level 1, he has 3 plus 1, which is 4 health. You track his health with this health thing right here. And let's see the special effect that this guy has. Skelepides do not miss when they attack. They always re-roll doubles. So in this game, whenever you roll doubles, if I can find it. Whenever you roll doubles, you miss. And normally, if an enemy was attacking us and rolled doubles, then they would miss, and we wouldn't have to deal with their damage. But this guy's different. He's a bit scarier. He will also, he has 0 extra attack, 1 defense, and he'll give us 1 favor if we defeat him. So that's what all those symbols mean. So as the human, we always go first. So we're gonna roll. But before we roll, we get to decide how much energy we want to put into our attack. So you can see all the stuff on the card right here. If we spend 1 energy, then we do plus 2 damage. 2 energy, then we do plus 4 damage. Or 3 energy, then we do plus 6 damage. Now this Skelipede, he's kind of weak because we're only on the first level. So I think that we are going to spend 1 energy. And we're going to get +2 damage. So how you roll is you roll 2 dice. Oh, crap. I missed. Oh, dang it. So, since I missed, that means no damage would have been done. But if I rolled something that wasn't doubles, then I would subtract the 2 numbers, and that is the amount of damage that I do. And then I add the extra damage from spending energy. So if I rolled 4 and 2, then I would have done 2 damage plus the 2 damage that I added. So that would be 4 damage, and that would have killed him. But I didn't. I rolled doubles, and 2 minus 2 equals 0, which means I do 0 damage. Okay, now it is the Skelepede's turn. Oh, whoops, I dropped the dice. They are going to roll, and they roll a 2 and a 3, which is 1 damage. And that brings me down to 8 health. Oh no. So, now it's my turn again. I'm going to roll dice. And, oh wait, I'm going to spend another energy. So it does +2 damage. Are you kidding me? I missed again. What are the chances? In the same way. 2 and 2. All right. This Skelipede might be the enemy. How did I might die on the first enemy. That's crazy. Okay, the Skelipede. It's their roll. They missed, but they never miss. So we re-roll their attack. 3 and a 1. So I lose 2 health. It is not looking too hot for me. Okay. So now it's my turn. I'm going to spend another energy. I don't know if I should be spending all this energy on attacks that keep on missing. Maybe I should roll 1 dice at a time. Maybe that would give me more luck. Oops. No. Okay, a 3 and a 5. Finally, I do some damage. Okay, a 3 and a 5. 3 minus 5. I meant 5 minus 3 is 2. And I spent 1 energy, which gives me 2 extra damage, which means that since this guy has 4 health. Oh wait, no, but he has 1 defense, which means that I actually only brought him down to 1 health, which means that he's still alive and kicking around, and he's probably gonna do some more damage to me, which is kind of sad. So I'm gonna roll for him. He does, oh my goodness, he does 3 damage. That's a lot in this game. 1, 2, 3. And I'm down to 3 health from the first enemy, which isn't so much of a bad thing because we can heal a bunch at the campsite because of our character. But it's my turn again, and I'm not going to put any energy into this because as long as I don't miss, then I should be okay. 6, 4, that's 2 damage, minus 1 because of his defense, so that's 1 damage. And that kills him, finally. Alright, so he gives us 1 favor, and that is that. Alright, so we finally defeated that enemy, and now we get to fish. Hey, we caught a fish, okay. So we get +1 food from that. And now it's time to continue. So, at the statue, there is 1 trap, and if we survive the trap, we get a treasure. I am kind of low on health. Let's take it, because treasure's really good. They give you all sorts of bonuses. Yeah, in the chasm, we would have just fought an enemy. All right, the trap. Oh, so the trap was for 2 energy, so it wasn't even. It wasn't. Oh, oops. My hands are really shaky. I'm sorry, guys. So that was 2 energy. And the treasure was empty. So we just lose 2 energy for nothing. That's a shame. All right, the Sanctum. The Sanctum has a trap and an enemy. That doesn't look very good. So let's go on to the next one. So you don't have to go to this one. You can stop at the next one. I've just been stopping at the first one I see every time. So I'm gonna skip this one, go to the next one, which is the Quarters. Okay, so we fight the Possessor and we get the treasure chest isn't actually a treasure chest, it's a mimic, which is kind of like a shapeshifter, and it looks like a chest, but it's not actually. So we got double enemies this round. But the Possessor, you'll see in a second. The Possessor, if we defeat this guy, then we get a shard, which are these purple little crystals that if we get them, we win the game. So that's good. But it's also not good because this guy is really buff in tanky. So we take his health and we add it to the current dungeon that we're on. So 6 plus 1 equals 7. Let's move these to the side so we can get the enemy right here. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Oh, why won't he sit straight here? It keeps on like turning that way. Okay. So humans get the first turn. I am actually low on health, so I'm going to spend this potion that I got. So since I'm an alchemist, I got this potion. If I discard it, then I get 2 health and 2 energy. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to discard it. And since I was kind of low on health, I get 2 health and 2 extra energy that I get to spend on this battle. So I go first. I really want to make sure that I kill this guy. So I'm going to spend 2 energy. 1, 2. And that gives me plus 4 damage on this attack, which I think will help me destroy this guy. So I'm going to roll my dice. Ooh. This is a lot of damage. Okay. This is 5. So that's 6 in 1. So that's 5 damage plus the 4 that I just did. So that's 9 damage minus 1 because of his defense. So that would be 8 damage, which is just enough to kill this guy. So, sorry, my nose is kind of stuffy, guys. I'm gonna go. Give me one second. All right, guys, I'm back. My nose feels much better. I just blew it. All right, so we just defeated this guy, which means that we don't have to worry about him anymore. We get 2 favor because we defeated him. Later in the game, cards might ask us about our favor, and this is basically like our popularity or how good we are at being an adventurer. So if we're better at being an adventurer, people might treat us better. So, we get 2 favor from him, and if you look at the bottom text, whenever we defeat the Possessor, we get a shard. So there's 3 shards, which means we are 1/3 away from beating the game. Now, if you notice, we don't have a deck to draw these location cards from anymore. Which means that it's time to go on to the next dungeon. So we move this little meeple along one space on the dungeon tracker, which means that all enemies now get +2 health instead of +1 health, which means we're going to be fighting against beefier enemies than we ever have. Whenever we progress on the dungeon tracker, we also have to eat 1 food or else we lose some health. So that's why I decreased 1 food. All right. We lost our potion, and we lost some of our health. So let's try to stop at as many campsites as we can to regenerate that. Okay, so we're at the waterfall, which has something that we don't know and some water, which makes sense because it's a waterfall. I think that we're not going to stop here. We're going to go to the next place. So we stop at a clearing instead, which has a campsite, which is good. All right, so the mysterious thing is the altar. So that's one of these cards right here. You may gain a blessing from the altar based on your current level on the favor tracker. So I told you some things might interact with this. So we are 3 on the favor tracker. So 0 to 3 favor, we gain 1 health. If we had even more health, if we had even more favor, we would get a shard or we would get full health, which I don't know why you would ever choose full health. I feel like I would always choose the shard, unless we were like at 1 health, which means we might not live long enough to get another shard. But now that we've completed the altar, we are at the campsite, which means that, if you recall, we may rest at the campsite, gaining 2 health and 1 energy, or we may search for provisions, getting 1 food, but we get to do both as a gnome, and the books give us an extra energy, so campsites are really good for us. So we gain 2 energy and 2 health, and we are now at max health. But we're not at max energy. We have lots more energy. And we also gain 1 food. All right, that was a pretty good stop. We're like rejuvenated. So let's progress. So we're at the kitchen now. It'll have an enemy and a campsite. So we have to fight an enemy. We have to fight enemies to gain favor, because the more favor that we have, the more likely we'll stop at the altar. Where's the altar? I think it's on the back of this. Yeah, at the altar and get a shard. So let's stop at the kitchen. Oh man, if we didn't stop at the kitchen, then we would have stopped at the statue, which gave us a treasure. What you gonna do? All right, we're fighting the Doom Skull. Doom Skull, where are you? There you are. So, Doom Skull, we are on dungeon level 2, which means that his health is 4 plus 2, which is 6. Oh no. But he doesn't have any defense. Oh, wait, right here, the Doom Skull always attacks first. So normally we would, but this guy does. So, I'm gonna roll the dice for him, and he is going to do 6 minus 5, so that's 1 damage, and then he doesn't have any extra modifiers. Alright, that wasn't so bad. He only did 1 damage to us. But now it's our turn. He has 6 health, which is kind of a lot. But, to be honest, I think we can beat him if we spend 2 energy. So that'll give us +4 damage on our attack. So that's 3 minus 2. So that's 1 damage +4. That is 5 damage. Which means in 1 blow, we brought him down to 1 health. So probably next round, as long as we don't roll doubles, we'll defeat him. Alright, Doomskull's turn. He is going to roll and do 3 damage to us, which is a lot. I'm kind of sad. 1, 2, 3. Alright. We now have 4 health remaining. He's brought us down to half health, but as long as we don't roll doubles, we'll defeat him. Are you kidding me? Okay, darn. So we rolled doubles, which means we didn't do any damage. So now it's the Doomskull's turn, and he rolls a 6 and a 2, which is 4 damage. Darn it. And there's nothing we can do about it. So he rolled 4 damage, and we were at 4 health. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We land on that little skull, which means that we lost. That was a good playthrough, though. I hope y'all had a fun time watching me play 10. What was it? 10 Helm by Jason Glover. This game is awesome. It's a little hard to find, though, but I love how portable it is. I could carry this in my back pocket and take it to a restaurant or something. I might get some funny looks, though. But thank you so much for watching this video, and goodbye.